No, it won't.
I wonder what'll happen next.
We're online. That's what happens next. It's
Oh,
that
we're
easy.
People will post telling us how we're wrong about surviving the game because they found our YouTube channel. Oh, hello, Internet and YouTube people.
Aloha, YouTube.
That's not a bad movie. It's like, yeah, you didn't even watch the video, you chump. I do like the Cats Don't Dance continues to get traffic.
People want to see
love
that hot movie, man.
And people are like, where's Cats Don't Dance? Must relive
Indeed.
my terrible childhood.
Where is it indeed?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's in hell where it belongs
Whoa.
with your grandparents.
Whoa, hang on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If they grew up watching that, there's a good chance their grandparents are still alive.
Yeah.
No.
It was like
Oh, okay.
1997.
Not anymore. Not in tropes, America.
All right. Not soon, but maybe right now.
Oh, yeah.
And for the rest of their life.
They're dead.
Man, someone beat Bill here. Man, what's going
Bill's
on?
here.
No, Bill's not here.
Oh.
That's someone beat Bill here.
Why would they beat Bill?
I don't know.
What did Bill do? He
Don't
didn't
beat
do
Bill.
anything.
I don't know.
How come I'm not getting?
Oh,
like,
that's
my-
it. He's in a time loop. It's from the UK. That's how. Because it's like they're doing shit for us.
They're doing shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's a lot of shit.
Like it was already like 9 o'clock there, like some time ago.
I gotta get on this internet.
Yeah.
Has
Find
someone
out about
tweeted
this.
it?
You get on that daggone. I put it in the Discord. Now I'm going to tweet it.
Somebody hit the, whoever that is, probably hit the bell like any decent human would.
That's true.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
hot,
hi.
hot mic.
Oh.
Turn down your radio caller.
The Larch.
Oh, it's
Is
Bob.
there's the live stream.
Hi, Bob.
Oh, Bob
Hey-
Connolly from
hey,
accounting.
Oh, Robbie C. Oh,
Yeah. You know me. All right. Things have been liked and tweeted.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
really?
Yep. It has happened.
Let's see how this looks.
So, who did we all watch the homework movie?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And
I have one other movie.
Okay. I, as per usual, have a lot of things. I'm just trying to decide how much of the things I should talk about.
I have homework movie, a TV show, and two other related movies.
Man, you've been busy.
I was stuck at my dad's for the weekend, so I had plenty of time to just watch Netflix because television is awful.
So I guess he did take the trip.
Yeah. How's that dog? I'm glad you went over there to keep that dog alive.
The dog is great. Let me tell you what.
It's a good dog.
Yes, he's an excellent dog. A little crazy sometimes, but he's a good dog.
We also
And
a little crazy
But he's
sometimes.
young, right?
yeah, he's about a year and a half old. And,
yeah.
He failed out of the Canines for Warriors program because he was not. They
too
couldn't.
violent?
They
Was it like a
yeah,
Section 8?
Yeah,
Is it like wearing a dress and
did he
shit
have-
like Klinger? Or like
And flat feet.
Did he have paw spurs?
flat paws? Flat
Yeah.
paws, yeah.
high arches. But no, they couldn't get him to calm down. Like he was too excitable and also like too easily distracted. So he wouldn't just
So,
sit there and
a
be a
dog.
good dog.
This dog is me.
Yeah.
I mean, this
So
just
he would
sounds like you
stress out.
described dogs, basically.
So he would stress out the Warriors, in other words.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of being the opposite,
Okay.
he is smart, so he can learn. He learned a number of tricks. It seems not tricks, commands, I guess. But
Yeah, they're illusions, BJ.
yeah. Yes, you're right.
Always
I'm
the
so
best line.
sorry.
Oh man.
But yeah, the dog is good.
So you're done watching the dog?
Yes.
A review of the dog. The dog is good.
Yes.
His name is Walker. He's a blackmouth cur. He's very sweet. But
Okay.
dumb.
Well, I miss it when people and dogs were like that. Just dumb and sweet. Now they're just dumb and mean. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
dumb and sweet was a lot more charming.
Yeah. He's a 12 out of 10 dog for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good.
Would sit again. All right. Well, shall we do this and we'll just figure it out along the way like we usually do? Let segues happen perhaps
Yeah,
naturally.
neither of my movies are any bit recent.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I have two other movies, but I think I'm going to save talking about them until Mackie watches them because it's his fault I got them. They asked about him, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Fucking floppy mic. God damn it. Hold on.
Man, never want a floppy Michael.
Oh, you're going all Sinatra on this podcast. You're just gonna swing.
Tonight, we're going to do a podcast.
I'm actually using one of the old boom stands from the studio.
Boom stands ready.
Boom stands ready.
Yeah, I don't remember where I got this one, but I believe it was one of the old ones too.
I think we all took one home when we replaced them in the studio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They may all be
The
gone
next
now.
replacement.
I'm not sure. We had a bunch for a while.
The next replacement we'll get those $100 rude ones, or is it rude or is
Fuck
it
your mic. Man, I'm just trying to podcast.
No, they're just inconsiderate.
Oh.
yes.
All right. All right, let's do this. Oh, well, we must all hydrate prior to
Do it.
speaking.
Technically
Everyone is recording?
dehydrating. I'm recording.
Recording.
We're all recording.
Vaping, drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're providing
don't
good
have to
examples for the children. That's what
Yeah.
we're out here doing.
We don't have to drive home, so why not?
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Yeah, just get fucking lit. Jesus.
Yeah. Speaking of lit, let's do this. All right, and welcome to the Bamfcast Variety Hour.
Hey,
Bamfcast Variety Hour.
Episode 14 of this. Still, we're doing a weird thing, not our normal show. So
How is it only 14, yet it is also so many that it is 14?
Yeah.
Huh?
Word. That's deep, man.
Shit,
Really makes you
man.
think.
That's a way Homer. Yeah. So I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
Yeah. And as I said, we're not going to do what we normally do, though we did pick a homework movie this week and all actually watch it. So that hasn't happened too many times, but
It's been a while.
yeah. And that movie is we watched the Netflix movie The Old Guard that everyone is talking about.
Yes, it's all the rage.
It is a rage. I mean, people are really want for content right now, so dropping a fairly sizable action movie in the comfort of your home is worth talking about, I guess.
So, was this one going to be an actual theater release, or was it always a Netflix thing?
It feels like it was always a Netflix thing, just from the scale. I mean, it seems
Yeah.
like that's their new thing of like, hey, get a marquee star and a bunch of solid second people that you don't really recognize from too many things, and make this thing. I mean, it's kind of the Extraction model, So.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of fine with this being the scale going forward. Like, I mean, I'm just off the bat. I mean, I'm okay with this movie. I mean, I didn't think it was amazing, game changing, like the best new thing ever, but it's a solid movie. I mean, it's a
This
solid
is
action
where-
movie.
Well, we've been wanting, that B tier movie feed for a while, and I think this is where they're all going to come from, is from, like Netflix's and Hulu originals and all that. But I'll just start off with, I really liked it. I want more. I want
I
more
think
of this
you're going to
universe.
get more. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the plan. Is like they're launching these things with these like open-ended, like, did you like it? Because we can definitely make more. You know, so that's just
Yeah.
what these feel like the Spencer movie. Even like all these, it's just like if you like it, we'll do more. You know,
Yeah, it felt like one of those good long TV movie pilots.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a big budget pilot, basically.
Yeah, big budget pilot. And I just, it's kind of silly. Like it's not a great movie. It's not, life changing cinema, but I really enjoyed it. It was, maybe the fact that it's better than I expected it would be, being, kind of just like here's a Netflix original. But I just really like the universe they created and how they did it. It's Charlize Theron, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I hope they're able to retain her. I don't imagine that they will, but
well, I mean, I don't want to do like a full spoiler review type of thing unless you guys do. I don't care really. I don't think we need to do like a plot by plot thing, but
No, not
I mean,
at
I
all.
guess we should probably, if we want to get into spoilery territory, which I will just say that like it's open enough that like she could come back, but also like could come back in a reduced capacity, and it would also work for the story and not be like we just couldn't get her for very long. Like they left it in that way.
Yeah.
So it's like it would make sense thematically and budgetarily that it's like, yeah, she's like if it were a series or a series of movies that she's now bumped down to like 15% participation. You know what I mean? And it would perfectly work for what they've set up in this universe. So
yeah, and that would be fine. I just think that like her sort of charisma or anti-charisma in this movie kind of it drives it along pretty well. That I've seen everything, I'm tired of this shit sort of 1,000-yard stare occasionally really works for the feeling of that of the movie. So I don't have a lot to say about it other than like what I've already said. I think this was based on like a comic or a novel or a series
I think it's like
of
an
novels.
image comic.
Yeah, it's an image comic. It's got like 2 volumes, so there's really only been like 2 storylines so far. But the guy who wrote the screenplay for this one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It almost, I mean, it sounds like it. I don't know the backstory, but this sounds like kind of one of those things where it's like, I'll just get it out in the ether because like people are picking up comics left and right for adaptations. It just maybe sounds like maybe he didn't even want to do a comic long term. Just like, hey, I have this cool idea. Anyone want to roll with it? Like, here's a, sort of like, I mean, honestly, that seems like a pretty good way to like get a treatment out there in the ether. Just like I don't know, like there's this cool idea, like you could adapt it and pay me. And
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that because the first one, it looks like I'm looking at the collected editions. The first one came out in 2017, and then the newest one was this year, and there's only been 2.
Yeah.
So it seems like one of those image deals where he just kind of drops back in and goes, all right, let's do another storyline.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
Which I'm fine with that because that means you've had time to think up a story and it's not like, oh shit, deadline. What do we do?
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of indie comics have kind of gone that, like, it's not strict deadline, like monthly issue type thing. Just like, get us a good issue and we'll put it out. It's like, I think they're kind of that opinion of quality over quantity now. So, but yeah, I like I said, this is a solid enough start of a movie that I would watch more. And I mean, on the surface, like you could very easily say this is the female John Wick that everyone thought Atomic Blonde was going to be, because like Atomic Blonde has some kick-ass moments, but it's like 5-10 minutes worth of hardcore action, and like most of it's just espionage stuff, and this is like,
Well, that's kind of this one.
I don't know, like, but I
There's
mean,
not that much action in this movie, really.
It really isn't.
I
There's
mean,
only like 3 scenes.
okay,
And
well,
granted, the one at the end is extended, so that's good. But
yeah. But I mean, like when the action scenes happen, I mean, okay, maybe it's still not the pace of a John Wick. I mean, few things are going to have that frantic pace, but I mean, like the execution style fighting with which they do, because like every single shot in this movie, I think, is a headshot that's not to a main character.
It is
Like,
precision murdering
yeah.
going on.
I mean, it's like, other people will take like shoulder shots and things like that, but it's like everyone else is like, you are getting a headshot and you're getting a headshot. Everyone check
Yeah.
out your sheet. There's a headshot.
they've been practicing for hundreds of years.
Right. That's one of the things about that I kind of feel like this movie does well as opposed to a lot of other movies. Like, and John Wick does it well also, but like the painful realities of a gunfight, like if you get shot, you're going down most of the time. Like getting shot isn't something that you shrug off.
Even when you're wearing a bulletproof vest.
Even when you're wearing a bulletproof vest. A lot of movies really love that particular thing, like getting shot with a bulletproof vest and you look like you die. But there aren't many people who, with the exception of the main characters, who recover. I don't know if
I was
there's
going to say,
anybody
should
that
we
recovers from a
tell the
from a
basic
gunshot
plot?
wound.
I don't think there's anything spoilery about telling you the basic overall plot of this. Is that,
Well,
I mean, because
hang on.
well, okay,
Let me say this.
all right,
Let me say, if you don't want to know anything about this movie, skip ahead about 5 minutes.
Sure,
because
okay.
I got a couple of specific things to say about it because, like, going into this, I knew literally nothing about it. I knew that Charlize Theron was in it, and that was it.
okay,
So when it started, I was like, "Oh, is this a time loop movie?" Because that's what the dialogue is suggesting. And then, like, they go into their mission with all these old school weapons, and I'm like, "Is that their thing? They just murder people with, like, battle axes and shit? That's going to be the hook of this movie?" And then when the thing presents itself that they're immortals, I was like, "Oh shit, I'm on board with this. This is rad." Now the movie lost me 5 minutes later, but up until that point, I was super stoked by this. I think I probably like this movie the least out of all of us, but I'm just a seething ball of rage right now, and I don't like anything. So I'm not really judging this movie yet. I just as soon as it was presented like, oh, the guy from the Incredible Hulk is chasing them and he knows everything but can't quite catch them, and then it's a big pharma guy who's
The Dursley kid from Harry Potter.
Yeah, I have never
Still got the weird ears.
I've never ever felt more murderous rage for a character in recent memory than I have this guy. Like, I immediately wanted to reach into the screen and murder him myself.
you talking about the pharma dude, basically?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
yes, yeah. So
Well, he was doing a great job then.
I guess he was an effective bad guy because my God, I fucking hated every second he was on screen. I don't think the soundtrack is very good. The soundtrack sounds like a Forza Horizon soundtrack. It doesn't really work with the action. It's kind of this poppy, like, rave festival kind of stuff, and I just don't think it gels with the stuff that's happening. I kept fixating on one really stupid thing, which is if like when they get shot and like bullets and shit are being pushed out of their body, how are they wearing earrings?
I thought the same thing. I guess she never takes them out, and it just heals
Well,
around the earring.
Or maybe
The
they
new-
were pierced before they became immortal, and it sticks.
I don't know.
I mean,
It just-
vampire rules, basically. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like, well, I mean,
I didn't notice any earrings.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm
Charlize has like a half
Yeah.
dozen of them.
I just mean like the idea of like the interview with the vampire. Like if you get turned into a vampire as a kid, you're
Sure.
a kid forever. I'm just saying like maybe if you're ear pierced, you're good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like the lore of this is that you reach a certain age and then all of a sudden, oh, you're immortal. That's you stop aging from that point.
is
So
it
maybe
or
that's
isn't
true.
it? Is
That's-
it like
That's what I was about to say. Is like the basic plot because we are.
It's
basically
really
talking about this
unclear.
point. Yeah, I think they're being cagey on purpose because like it's not. They are immortal warriors. That just like one day, like you said, I don't think they necessarily say they died. They just became immortal. But like the new person that are recruit to this organization or club or whatever you want to call it, dies to find out that they're immortal. I don't think they explicitly say that happened to the other people. Did they? I don't know.
No, I think it's just they reach a certain age and then stop aging.
Sure. Well, okay.
Because a couple of them are very not like lifetime ages, but just
Oh no, I don't
appearance,
think they were
age.
like immortal from like birth. I think it was like
no.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the immortality part of it at all. I'm just saying like they grow to a certain age and then stop.
Yeah.
They no longer age past a certain point, but it's not the same age for everybody is what I'm saying because the group is different ages.
Yes. Yeah, both in terms of like the actors portraying them and the length of time that they've been immortal. So, I mean, because
Yeah.
but
And I got to admit, as soon as they introduced a character like, oh, it's a new immortal who just realized she's immortal, I was like, because
Yeah,
now we got to go through the whole like, no, I don't like you. What's happening to me? You know, just like all the bullshit that, like, that was this. I was just like, I just want to see these dudes kicking ass. I don't want to see them fucking convincing someone to join them and training her and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I could not care about any of that. And
It very much took on a tone of an early Marvel movie.
yeah.
Where I was just like, no, I don't need that. Just give me this squad of people doing cool shit and give me flashbacks that are relevant to what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting. But yeah, it just started. It's like they had this incredible concept, and then it was just like, okay, how do we make movie things happen?
Yeah, I know the guy who wrote the comic wrote it, but it's just like you could see studio notes or something saying, we need a point of entry character. You know, we have to explain everything to the audience, so you need that character to do it. And it's like, no, you don't. You really don't. Like, we get it. They don't die. They don't know why. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking go murder things. And, you know.
Yeah.
And then they proceed to not do that for the majority of the movie. and the thing about that character too is it's just like she's like, no, I don't want to be in this world where killing is all you guys do, and then immediately changes her mind and just starts murdering everybody. It's like, all right, well, that was a good crisis of conscience that lasted until you found an empty magazine, and then you're like, oh, guess it's murder time. Thanks, Chiwetel Ejiofor, for helping me murder.
I don't get that guy's motivation either.
I get it. Like his whole storyline worked all right for me, but
It seemed like up to a point it made sense, and then it was just like, wait, what? Because he was like, my wife died, and that's not fair. And it's like, yeah, and then he was like, you guys live forever, and it's like, okay, and
yeah, and I feel like the movie could have been so much more if more of it, like, because there's so many of them that were just like, man, it really sucks to live forever. God, you know, and it's like, fuck you. But the speech the guy gives her when he's like, you don't want to talk to your family because they're going to resent you, because they're going to get sick, they're going to get old, they're going to die. Like, that whole scene is really good. And I was like, if you're going to be all morose about living forever, give me more of this type of gravity stuff that actually, you know, conversations that matter.
But that's like the entire part you're talking about, that they're not fighting. That's the whole rest of the movie is explaining their reasons for having their eternal ennui. You know, that's the entire point of this movie existing, basically. You know, I don't know. It's just,
yeah, I don't know. It was all right, and the action is just, you know, I felt like it was a lot of chop modern editing, and
I feel like Pharma Guy's plan too of get the secret juice and then sell it to everybody is fucking stupid, because one, if everyone's immortal, the planet's fucked. Second, no, dipshit, you would just take it yourself and live forever. You don't need money, idiot.
Yeah. And I was really hoping for them to like come up, you know, like have your Watchmen thing where it's like you figured out a serum and I'm the one who's going to take it first, and then like, you know, explodes or some stupid shit. But
yeah,
I mean, I was satisfied with how his storyline was resolved.
Oh, yes.
So was I.
Yeah. And it's funny because I told Jen, I'm like, oh, I can tell you what's going to happen to this dude by the end. And that happened to that dude. Not quite how I expected, but pretty much how I expected.
I think like the whole point of that character was like exactly what we've experienced with Pharma Bros, which is like, these people don't care about the actual life-saving part of it. They don't see the forest for the trees, or the trees for the forest, for that matter. They're just concerned about making a buck off of selling, you know, some sort of medicine, whatever it is, to people. Like,
yeah, and it definitely did. It distills
they're just
down,
consumed with wealth.
Yeah, it distills down that philosophy too of like, well, they're not people; they're just, you know, customers. You know, in the way that he treats the ones that they eventually capture.
Yeah, and I don't think they were trying to extract the immortality to sell to people. They were just like, if we can get the Wolverine gene out of these people, then like we can cure cancer and everything, because it's like, oh, just healed itself.
Well, yeah,
you know, I don't think it was
make
like
money off of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was, and I think that's like why the Chiwetel Ejiofor character existed, because it was like he was in it like, okay, I have the military expertise and, you know, a personal stake of my wife going through ALS, And then but when he was realizing it's like, oh, not just like, hey, get these people and extract their blood and like we'll make magical serums. This guy was like, I'm going to dissect them and torture them in forever. And he's like, well, what? No, like I wasn't on board with that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Like I buy his motivation more than anybody's.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean,
like his storyline worked for me because when it started out, I was like, oh man, they got to fucking murder that guy. And by the end of it, I was like, all right, he got in over his head. He didn't realize who he was getting in bed with. That sort of thing. That stuff worked for me. But
yeah, it just seemed where like he had the big bulletin board of like he watched every A-Team episode and was like, look at all the good these guys have done, and then was like, now send in the guys who are chasing the A-Team to arrest them and kill them. It's like, no, guy, that really doesn't make with your whole pegboard of look at throughout history all of the good that they've done.
I don't think it was inferred that like he had that prior to his hunt of them. I think maybe, I don't know. I don't think he was like maybe unless he went to the Farmer Bro and was like, I have this theory about these immortal warriors. I mean, maybe that was how it was exposed. I don't know. I feel like that's the thing is like enough of this is open enough for interpretation without, I just think for like a general comic book style popcorn movie, this thing is fine. I don't think it bears,
totally fine.
I don't think it like bears too much over analyzation because like to me, like this felt more like, oh, okay. Like this is that high concept thing that like Underworld or something that just usually turns shitty because you gave it to shitty directors and it's just going to look like the CG nightmare. This was like, okay, this is like more in the Hellboy vein of like, we're going to try to take something that's kind of goofy and do our best with it, and that's kind of how I looked at it is like,
yeah,
there's going to be
I just wish I found myself wishing it was more fun than it ended up being.
Oh, it definitely has some tonal weirdness because I mean, our audience cipher character like goes through some shit like, and I mean, and some of the other characters, I mean, they talk about some awful dark things and that you have to like, put yourself in their shoes and it's like, Jesus, like,
the
eternal suffering type shit,
Yeah. The Gwen character, like the shit that they do to her is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean,
it would matter more if we hadn't watched Torchwood recently where it's like, yeah, there's basically that same thing was in Torchwood.
Yeah, there was a lot of this to me was like, yeah, Torchwood did that already, but then I have to remember nobody fucking watched Torchwood. But it's like watching a lot of this, I was just like, just call Captain Jack, just get him in here, and he can slide in and explain all the shit in 2 seconds, and just be like, you're cool like me. Now let's go have an adventure. So, yeah. Yeah, I appreciate she brought back her Eon Flux haircut.
Yeah. Yeah, I just...
she wanted to speak to the manager of life.
Yeah, I mean... I'll probably... If another one comes out on Netflix, of course, I'll probably watch it. But it's like... I guess I'm also kind of like... I can't wait for things to move away from that look. Because it's almost like they have a house style like of Netflix movies or like action movies, I should say, because like the soundtrack and the way it's shot and just all of it is like just like this action movie template that exists now, and I'm ready for things to move away from that. Maybe that's like why I gravitate towards Kingsman so much, because it looks completely different from that sort of shit, and it feels like this setting got plugged into the action movie mid-grade template, and I'm ready to move away from that look now. Like, I don't want to go back to the Bourne Supremacy, shake the camera all over shit, but I do like, I'm ready to move past the way these movies look.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's all right, but I mean, if we're going actual jocks, I'd probably say it's like a 2 jocks movie to me.
It's a B tier action movie. I mean, it's that kind of thing that you would get in the 80s that would come out on a weekend that something huge came out. Like Ghostbusters, Gremlins, and this. It's like, oh, that movie made $6 million. No one really talks about it, but like, oh, it's coming out on Blu-ray. It's pretty cool. It's that kind of thing, and I don't think it's going to get lost or forgotten or anything. It's just.
Oh, it will, because it's on Netflix, so it'll get buried big time.
Well, I think there are more eyes on it now because of we have no other movies. So that might help it down the line and franchise it better. But yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this is a pretty solid plan of like getting Extraction and this and these things out at this time to like, are you invested? Like series? Can we keep going? Like, do you want this?
We're gonna get a gap at some point. Of just like,
absolutely, yeah.
these services don't have anything. So I'm amazed at production schedules. Like as this stuff keeps dripping out, it's like, well, how long has this been done? And how many other movies have like just like a week's left of work left to do, or that kind of thing. It's going to be just interesting to watch all these things ramp back up to see.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen like any official announcements, but I feel like there's like 6 Pixar movies in the works right now. Like, I mean, I just feel like I keep seeing something like, and I'm like, is that another like coming sometime Pixar movie? Like, and I can't even keep them straight anymore because, I mean, honestly, the caring about Pixar meter's gone way down from where it once was. But I can see like animation because it's like, yeah, everybody can work on that wherever, the voice artists, if we send them a kit, can record that at home. Like, yeah, they could be pumping out animated movies forever. So
Under that in the cloud.
yeah, I mean, really, you can nowadays, just about. So
I know.
Yeah, I mean, or remote access to the data center. I mean, just drop your files in there and let it churn away while you're not there. So, yeah, but yeah, I see like animation being like, oh yeah, start cranking that out because we can make that anywhere. So,
I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a whole lot more.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, I've seen like these like behind the scenes like voice actor things. They send them this like kit, like they send them this like little like soundproof little booth thing, and it's all like. They have like a whole shipping system that they're like, yeah, just send them that. They do the thing and send it back.
A friend of mine just bought. This is only vaguely related, but it reminded me of it, and it's really cool. A friend of mine bought a small recording booth for his apartment, for his tiny LA apartment, and it's like a 4x4 booth that you can sit in. That's like 6,
Yeah, they almost look like voting booths.
Six-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Or phone booths, if you remember those.
Pile all your
What?
Yeah.
Pile all your equipment in it, and record in a private studio within your weird small LA apartment.
There are dozens of people doing that in LA right this second.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So,
At any given time, there are probably 5,000 people in LA in tiny recording booths trying to make their magnum opus. But
right.
there was a, if we're done talking about the old guard, there was a softball segue there, but I don't know if BJ is going to bite on it or not because we didn't discuss what movies we watched before we started doing this. He was saying like the action style of the Bourne Supremacy, and I'm loving that.
No.
Okay, all right.
You go ahead.
No. I'm going to save it for when you watch it. That's
okay.
Yeah, I in anticipation of he continuing the Bourne journey, I rewatched the second one, and I watched the first one and the second one just to get caught up because it's been a number of years, and I don't mind rewatching the Bourne Identity at all. But yeah, I gotta say I hate the way Supremacy's directed even more now than I did way back when. It's somehow worse. So
yeah, that's sad to hear.
But movie's good. Watch the movie though. Like what's happening is cool. I just hate everything about how it's directed. So
I do have a back traced segue though.
Okay.
Speaking of Netflix house style, I watched another Netflix joint, but this time a series. I watched Warrior Nun, which was also another one of these like, where'd this come from? Is based on a graphic novel or a book or something. Warrior Nun has a similar like, no, I don't want to be the hero. I don't want to be part of your group. I don't want to be what I am, but okay, fine. I'll be part of what you are. But it at least takes place over the course of, 8 episodes. It's kind of like, and take this in all the right ways. It's kind of like a Western, not like a yeehaw Western, but a Westernized live action anime sort of idea. No, not in like the bad way, just in that like it's got a
Like in
It's
the
got a
sucker punch way or the better way?
in a better way than Sucker Punch, but in kind of that, like, it's got that feel of like a strange concept, like it's a secret sect of nuns that fight demons, and there's a chosen one that has an angel's halo implanted into them, and across thousands of years they have fought against the evil in the world, and all of a sudden there's a new one.
Oh,
And I don't
okay.
want to yeah.
And she's saying she don't want none of that.
She don't want none. Yeah.
Okay.
She becomes a nun on the run, as a matter of fact.
So she just wants to be a regular nun.
She should get back in the habit.
Well, she don't want to be she wants none of that. She is not a nun to begin with. She's
She doesn't want nuns, hun.
yes. But as goofy and kind of cliche as it is at some points with its sort of, I don't want to be part of this. You're forcing me to be, I want to be something else. I want to be,
Want to be a normal
I
nun?
want to be
Does she not want to be a nun at all? Or
no,
just,
she doesn't want to be a nun at all.
Okay.
She doesn't want to, she wants nothing to do with any of it.
Yeah.
She just wants to be normal. But she's thrust into this situation. So for all the cliche that is, I really enjoy the lead actress, and a few of the there's a priest who, of course, there's a priest in charge of the sect, right? But I really enjoy that actor. I don't know any of their names because it's all, I recognize none of them, but they all look like people. They all kind of just look like another actor or actress that you've seen before.
So they're all kind of conventional.
Yes. The lead actress looks like Ellen Page with with a normal person's amount of forehead.
So like a 3
Not
head.
that, yeah. Ellen Page has like a 5 head, 5.5 head. This girl has a normal forehead. That's not meant to be as disparaging as it actually sounded once it came out of my mouth.
Oh no, you hate this lady.
Yeah. No. This she's great. I like her.
It's Ellen Page he doesn't like.
I like her whole.
Yeah. Get it
No,
straight.
yeah. It's Ellen Page that I'm viciously insulting.
Right.
Okay, fair enough.
But I don't mean to be insulting to Ellen Page. But yeah, so the lead actress, the priest, and there are a couple of the other nuns that I really, really like. And it's a pretty good looking, if dark and somewhat, bland color paleted movie or series. But I watched the whole series in maybe 2 or 3 days. It got its hooks in me, and I really want more. Like I want people to watch it so that Netflix continues to make more of it, because it's done all the setup in this season for okay, we got all the all the exposition out of the way, got all the world building out of the way. Now let's start seeing, now give me the stories based around all of this that you've created.
Some nun worrying.
Yes. But that's pretty much it. I really enjoyed it, and go out and watch it if anything I described to you sounds interesting at all. There's some good sword stuff, and it's swords and guns set in near future. So
Netflix getting the sword budget.
yeah. Fairly big sword budget too. They have a glowing sword in this one. So.
Like they open up a storage locker from Canon or something. We're just like, hey, swords. Let's make a movie.
Yeah.
One of the middle managers got into that storage unit auction thing and ended up buying out half a dozen Canon film storage lockers or something.
Man.
So many swords.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if we're talking about Netflix series, I'll talk about one because I think I mentioned that I had started watching Maniac, but I had not talked about finishing it. The limited series thing that's from the soon-to-be Bond director, Kerry Joji Fukunawa, isn't it? I know I just fucked that up. That was off the top of my head.
Uh-huh.
But yes, it's a series, a limited series with Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. Wow, just watch this and names went out of my head. That is a series
the
that
stars of Superbad.
yeah, yes, they reunited. That is a series that fucking goes places. Like if you are a fan of, I don't know, like I can't even like that's the kind of thing is like I can't even think of like what to say. If you like this, you should watch this. It's so fucking random, but great too. Like I highly recommend you watch it. I'm just telling you that series goes weird ass places. It starts and you're like, oh, okay, I think I know what this is about. You don't know what it's about. Like it's one of those. Like it's kind of like maybe not quite as Russian Doll is kind of even more like normal than this. Like this just goes some wacky ass places and does some wacky ass things by the end, but it's damn good. And yeah, just like it's just one of those like supporting cast things where it's just like you're just looking around like, damn, like that's cool. Yeah, like Sally Fields in it, Justin Theroux. Fuck, I don't even remember who all shows up. It's a decent amount of people where you're like, damn, that's cool. But yeah, it's a mind fuck kind of movie. I'm just warning you if like you don't like one of those where you're like, I don't know what's real and what isn't kind of things, you're probably not going to enjoy this. But yeah, like given the medium of like what the show allows them to do, like they get to do like fantastical, crazy, like go over here into this completely different type of show and setting and characters for an episode because it actually makes sense within the confines of what's happening in the show. So you'll just get this like random episode where it's just like almost like Atlanta, where it's just like, wow, what is this episode going to be? Like this is a completely atypical to all the other ones. It's that kind of nature. Like every episode you start, you're like, what's going to happen in this one? I have no idea. So it's fun in that way. So yeah, I don't know, like fans of like Twin Peaks-ish kind of weirdness, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It's probably even less structured than that by the end. But yeah, it's fucking great though. And it's another thing that was like should have gotten more traction and exposure, but Netflix was like, here it is, okay, shuffle it on down. It's gone now.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's solid. And I don't think it's like a thing that's going to have anymore. It's a truly like, you know, true detective style, like fucking here it is, which is another thing he worked on. So I'm just saying it's a, you know, crazy weird ass series, and I highly recommend it. Yeah.
All right.
Who else has stuff?
I want to interject one thing real quick since we're on the topic of Netflix. I don't know if we've spoken about it on the show yet, but The Floor is Lava
yeah.
Did you guys? Okay.
Last
Was
week,
I
just
there
a
when
little
we were
bit.
talking? Okay.
No, you were not here.
Okay.
So
No,
lay
you
it
missed
on us.
this. Let's hear your take on. There were some differing takes on the floor being lava.
I am showing no emotion.
The Floor is Lava is an awesome premise. Like an awesome premise with really cool sets and a really like it harkens back to those like 90s Nickelodeon shit. And stuff like Legends of the Hidden Temple and
Double Dare with Mark Summers.
Double Dare a little bit. Guts, like it reminds me a lot of Guts, but it is absolutely 100% failed by the first set of contestants that they have, which are the most grating pieces of shit on the planet, and also the host, who sucks and should go away forever. He's one of those guys from New American Top Gear who sucks. Is Rutledge Wood, I think? Yeah. That's how much I hate him. I remember his name because he sucks and he should go away. Bring back Mark Summers. Mark Summers isn't doing anything.
He could imagine the floor is
actually
dragons.
want to meet Mark Summers.
Yeah.
Not Rutledge Wood. Who cares? I
Who
don't
gives
wanna
a
meet
shit
you.
about Rutledge Wood? Also,
Yeah.
listen, those three, like the mom and two kids, I would push them in literal lava if I had to see them in person. I hate them.
Did you power past them though?
No, I hate them. I stopped watching it.
Okay.
Like I didn't even watch
He did
them
the same
finish-
thing I did.
the
The
first-
exact same thing.
They didn't even finish the first room. I just
Oh, there's just one room.
shut it off.
It's just one room. That's it.
Okay.
If they make it across, that's,
They just
that's
bring
the-
a new crew in next room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the rooms only change between episodes. Like
I got
So,
you. Okay. I didn't
we'll-
watch the second set of people because
Yeah, we'll repeat what we said last week, or at least what Harlow said, because he enjoyed it.
yes.
He
ish.
said there's an episode that has the flight attendants that we should watch,
go to that one first.
okay.
and that it seems like among the worst contestants they chose was that family.
I believe so. Yes. The crazy thing is, like, there are other contestants I absolutely hate, but there's some Schadenfreude for some of them, and other ones, like I said, I had this pivot switch for ones that I just immediately turned on. By the end, I was like on their side. It's the weirdest show to me. And I watched the whole goddamn thing, and I would watch more. It's a sickness. I realize this, but I would absolutely watch
Even
more.
with Rutledge fucking Wood. Rutledge
He-
has
he-
all of the charisma of a piece of driftwood.
he
would.
he does every pun you would expect someone to do, but every once in a while there was one that I can't tell if it was great or so bad that it just broke me, that I don't totally hate him. I will agree with you on certain contestants. Certain contestants can die in the actual lava, but he doesn't fully grate on me yet. They could do better. Absolutely. I would not be sad if they replaced the host, but he had one or two things that actually made me kind of laugh. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, your sense of humor is
Twisted and stupid, yes.
different to mine sometimes. Like a lot of the time we're on the same page, but you
Do you want
go
me,
off the deep end sometimes.
do you want me to give you the example of the one that actually broke me? Because, I mean, it's probably not
No.
going to break anyone else. It's so fucking stupid.
Well,
But I'm
it's
just saying,
out of context here, so.
I can explain it very easily. One of the floors, I believe they call it the planetarium, which is not part of a house, but they have a planetarium one, and it's just all space shit. And they have an Apollo capsule in the middle, which replaces I don't know if you saw the pyramid with the shitty
Yes.
kind of like, okay, so it's kind of like it's the same similar thing to the pyramid, but it's just sitting there. It looks like the Apollo capsule, and people don't know that it rocks like a bell, so people like jump to it and don't expect it to give, and just fly backwards into the fucking lava. So this one crew was doing this, and there was one of the contestants' name was Jawan, and so he leapt for it, hit it, slid up backwards, and he actually goes, "That's Jawan, small step for man." I was like, "Fuck you," but also yes. So
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. The writers did a good job.
yeah. So I'm just saying that was the one I was like, all right, you got me.
That's pretty good. I like that. I do.
Yeah.
I do find that humorous.
Yeah. But like I said, yes, the
That's
worst,
funny.
probably the worst contestants by far were the very first ones that they put on the show. And as I said last week, I don't think they put any thought into like putting better contestants or better episodes first. I literally think like what you saw was what they filmed in the order that they fucking filmed it. Like it feels like that level of like, yeah, just we don't think out non-linear like at all. It's just like this. We brought this family in; they went first, so they're first on the show. And it's like someone should have said, like, they fucking suck. People are going to turn this shit off. That mom is the worst.
Yeah. Well,
So
I will look for the episode with flight attendants, and if that one does not suck my soul directly out of my body within the first 10 minutes, then I might watch another one.
I would not stump ever to make people watch this show. I realize the garbage / brilliance that it is. So
You know, like, y'all remember Wipeout? It might still be on the air. Who the fuck knows? But, like, you know how, like, all the commentating on Wipeout just gets...
they're all doing
gets
summer
so
comedy
fucking-
movie trailer voice. Like, that's
Yes.
gotta hurt. That's Wipeout.
It's so fucking tiresome after the first like 2 episodes, but you continue watching until you have seen all the different ways somebody can bounce off of a 12-foot ball and hit their head off of another 12-foot ball before falling 12 feet into a pool of water. This was too much for me to even like enjoy the Schadenfreude of watching these people like bonk their heads on stuff. But I'll give the flight attendants episode a shot, and we'll see.
Okay.
We shall see.
Cool.
Shall we take a break, or do we not have enough stuff to talk about after the break?
I don't know what everybody has left. Which is
I have one movie left.
Let's put a quick pause and just talk about what's left. Like, so you
I
told me we are not talking. I mean, we're off the record right now. Are we talking about Happy Death Day movies, or do you want to watch them?
I'll watch them.
Okay.
We'll talk next week.
Okay.
Chuck's seen them, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Then I will say
I
that.
will watch them. We will discuss them next week.
Okay.
Otherwise, I have one movie.
Yeah, I have one thing that'll take 90 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I have one other thing. It's I rewatched the movie and I kind of want to like do a quick review / apologize for other movies I've shat on in the past. So
Okay.
yeah.
BJ, do you need a break?
Yeah, if you need
No,
to
we're
go.
good.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't know maybe if you needed to poop.
That ramen moves fast.
Well,
It
slides
does
right
not.
through you sometimes.
It does not.
All right. Let's give Chuck another clap. So, who has something else?
I
Want
do.
you to like my comeback? Come on. It's a comeback in. It's a works for anywhere kind of segue.
Yeah, just drop that in.
I love it.
God damn it.
Yeah, it's
fine.
a catch-all seg. You know,
keep going.
it's got to happen. Yeah. First, I don't know why, but Jen wanted to watch Great Gatsby, the Baz Luhrmann one from like 6 or 7 years ago with Leo and Tobey Maguire and Carey Mulligan.
Uh-huh.
And
It's famous for that GIF.
yeah, when that showed up, I'm like, man, I've seen that GIF. And that's like half an hour into the movie. That is like literally the first time you see him in the movie. Yeah, it kind of just solidified two things for me. Is I could not give a shit about stories about rich assholes, and I could not give a shit about the filmmaking of Baz Luhrmann, because like Moulin Rouge and this, I'm like, I appreciate what you're doing, guy. Like the auteur, all that stuff. Like you have your thing, you're doing it, you're gonna force it in whatever you're doing, and some people are gonna love it, and people like me are gonna be like, no, thank you, sir. Let's move on. And yeah, that was definitely my reaction to the whole thing. And it's interesting that I know that movie was like just at the tail end of the height of 3D, because I'm pretty sure it was filmed in 3D, because there are scenes in there that are just like, oh yeah, you're like this stuff in the foreground is way too in focus to be not, 3D imaged basically. And the way that they transition between people sometimes is just like, oh yeah, this is definitely shot for 3D. And it just makes everything look weirder than it would just for being a Baz Luhrmann movie in general. But this one, like Moulin Rouge, the soundtrack does kind of work because it's kind of adapted to work with what they're doing. Whereas this one does not at all. And it's not even like timed correctly. Like a party scene where they got music and there's people dancing and stuff. And it's just like, you just picked a song and dropped it in. Like it's not working with what you're doing. Like the proper
like
music.
Modern music?
Yeah, it's like modern hip hop tracks.
Oh,
like
weird.
There's like Jay-Z stuff, and it's just like,
He does that.
yeah, and that's like his thing, I guess. But it doesn't work in this one because the songs he picks don't add anything to the scenes that they show up in. And yeah, it is. And the other thing is like, I mean, I barely remember the novel from when everybody had to read it in 8th grade or whatever, and just kind of like. The way it ends is just kind of like, oh, all right. It may have been a big dramatic thing in the 1920s, but nowadays you're like, yeah, I've kind of heard that story 1 billion times now already, and whatever. And Yeah, and Tobey Maguire just doesn't work in that movie either. Like he is a bad choice to be, your kind of your audience cipher. He just doesn't blend well with it, and yeah, there's so many things like stylistically, if you're on board with that, it's going to work. But like me, I was like, nope, absolutely not, nope. And you could also do the old sport drinking game, of course, because Gatsby ends almost every sentence with it throughout the entirety of the movie. And it's kind of sad that like Leo's actually doing like good work in what amounts to just crap around him, but I it's tough for me to think of a movie that Leo doesn't turn in at least a committed performance in. Because I mean, there's plenty of movies that he's in that I just don't like at all. Like Shutter Island, I'm not a fan of at all. And this one too is just, but it's like, yeah, he's good in it.
I'm guessing
surrounded
Romeo
by crap,
plus
but he's
Juliet
good in it.
is probably on that list as well.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one, so yeah.
He's
And it's
good
Baz
in
Luhrmann
all
again,
the
right?
things. Yeah, he's good in pretty much anything.
I
You
mean,
just don't get that. You don't get like him cashing a check because he only works like every 3 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want you to watch the Romeo and Juliet one because I want to see how many things we can stack against you liking a movie, and I'm feeling like that's almost like a perfecta, like like you call it all eight horses in a row, like because
Yeah.
I mean because I don't think you give a shit about Shakespeare, like Baz Luhrmann, like yeah,
That's a bingo right there.
yeah, I got John Leguizamo in it, so yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Doesn't it have hip hop though?
He does.
It yeah
Mackie
yeah.
likes hip hop.
It does, but it's like, isn't it like, people still speaking with basically a direct translation of
Oh yeah,
the original?
they're straight up
Romeo and Juliet.
saying Romeo and Juliet. It's just in like South Beach, California, or whatever. It's
Yeah, and
Venice
him going
Beach,
like,
California,
Romeo,
because
thou art a villain, and that sort of shit. Yeah.
it's Venice Beach because
Wow.
that would make more sense because
Yes.
that's where it takes place. But, yeah.
I
Yeah.
would guarantee you would not get past the gas station scene.
Isn't that the first scene?
Yes,
Yes.
the bite my thumb. Yes, yeah, it's the very first scene.
That is where I, sitting in the theater, was like, "Oh no, absolutely not."
I am so 100% on board with that movie. So
So is that just going to be like I'm sitting in the hospital bed going, I've made a horrible mistake?
yeah, pretty much. I just like I said, I'm trying to think. There's probably some other things that would pop up. You'd be like, but
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is like I know already, I know that Spike Lee's style, though, is often imitated and very well respected, is not for me.
Yeah.
I don't like how he makes his movies. I can only assume the Safdie brothers are the same way, where it's like I don't like what they've done, and Baz Luhrmann is just like that. It's like, yeah, you can tell me Moulin Rouge is great, but I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm going to like it. So, but I respect what all those directors do because it's like, just like I was talking about with Old Guard, it's like, yeah, that Old Guard's just some generic ass shit, but at least they're not putting out generic ass shit. They're doing something interesting and trying, but it doesn't click with me. So,
Well, speaking of movies that don't click with Mackie,
yeah.
I had a Paul Verhoeven double feature this weekend
I
because
like him.
both Total Recall and Starship Troopers are on Netflix.
Nice.
And Starship Troopers doesn't click with Mackie, according to what I've read on the internet.
Okay, let me.
I know that. Let's preface this with Mackie gets it.
I get it. It's been 20 years since I've watched it. I need to watch it again.
Yes, I
he
think you
needs to
should.
know more.
Yeah.
I have always loved Starship Troopers. I remember that was one of my first going out with my friends movies. Like I went to the movies in my friend's car without my parents. Like I think I was maybe 16, 15, 16, something like that.
How did you get into the movie?
Very easily.
Oh.
I went
Weird
up and
fools.
yeah. It looked exactly like this when I was 15.
Okay.
But yeah, just like very early independent movie going experience. And I realized it had been a while since I'd seen Total Recall, which had been staring at me as I scrolled through Netflix. Because I was at my dad's house and had literally nothing else to do other than watch regular television, which is a thing I'm not going to fucking do anymore.
No,
Nope.
not ever again. No.
Like, I don't want to get off on a huge like anti-television, anti-commercialism rant, but I will give you a little taste. Every single fucking thing about television and about TV advertising is the absolute fucking worst, and I hate it. And I hope it dies. And when it does, I will post the little Snapchat hot dog over its grave, and I will dance. Fuck everything about TV right now.
I probably see the least amount of commercials out of anybody here because like I never have like TV on ever. So I think I got fed this one through Peacock because I still don't have a paid version of it or whatever, commercial free version. But have you seen the Axe one that's like having like about social distancing and bullshit? Like I was like, fuck you so hard. Like fuck you. Like going back.
Axe. What do you expect?
Well, I'm saying like go back in time and fuck you. But like now it's just like, seriously, take that fucking axe to the middle of the face. Like, just go away. Like, don't ever to make another thing. Yeah, I was just like, I don't normally just get like immediately pissed off, but I was like, how fucking dare you like make this thing to show people while they're trapped in their houses and like really needing human contact and shit. And it's like, yeah, like, oh, it'd be fun. Look, we got fake arms around each other to go on a date. And it's like, fuck you, Axe. Like, that's the only way I could be. You know, I was social distancing from anyone wearing Axe before it was fucking mandatory. So, you know, fuck you. So,
I will say.
This episode brought to you by Axe. Now,
the best commercial I've seen on Peacock so far was for Peacock.
oh, okay,
They're running fucking ads for their own thing.
sure.
Oh, so they're on the Spotify model. They're going to annoy you into buying the premium one.
I guess.
Yeah, I honestly haven't seen that many ads, and like I think you're right. I think the things I have seen have been mostly like, oh, check out Peacock. I'm like, I'm fucking here. like it's like walking to Arby's, like try the roast beef. I'm like, motherfucker, like I am in the door.
Yeah, you're in the club and they're like only $5 to get in. It's like I already paid. I'm here, man.
Do you see me? I'm here.
We got titties in here. It's like I'm inside the club.
I'm staring at them right now. The ad is on the titties.
They speak for themselves.
House ads. What the fuck is wrong with house ads? Why does everybody fuck it up?
Well,
Anyway.
if you have YouTube TV, which I do, and you watch certain networks where they can't sell advertising, like to save their lives, like Animal Planet, you will get the "We'll be right back."
Yeah.
And it's like this little song that plays that haunts me in my dreams because it'll play for like 90 straight seconds on some of those networks.
It's like the
And you're
Wii
just like,
menu music, or
yeah, I'm just like, God, I would rather listen to silence right now. Like, don't play this little song again. And yeah, commercials suck.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Don't
things
watch.
that don't suck.
Don't watch television.
Yeah.
Things that don't suck. Total Recall still fucking slaps. I love Total Recall so much.
It's so
Like,
fucking good.
I'm glad it had been such a long time since I'd seen it because I forgot a lot of the stuff that happens in Total Recall, and it's all fucking awesome. Yeah, like I remember the overall plot, but I kind of forgot the details of how certain things get in certain places, and like the whole beginning where fucking yoked ass Arnold has this job as a jackhammer operator, like in random ass bit of Mars. I'm like the beautiful apartment, beautiful wife, running a fucking jackhammer with all these other fucking schmucks.
Wasn't his
nowhere?
Wasn't his coworker the guy from Sewer Shirk?
Yes.
Like that's
Possibly.
what I remember him from. Like that's so stupid, but like I should go like, oh, the guy from Total Recall.
Yeah. Sorry, not nowhere Mars, nowhere Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to get his ass to
Because
Mars.
he has to get his ass to Mars.
Right. But then there are also things that I remembered that were even better than I remembered, like the hologram scenes. I didn't realize that hologram thing went on for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 5 or 6, 7 minutes, the whole hologram in the reactor area thing, like that goes on forever. Not forever, but for a significantly longer time than I thought it did. And all of the little side characters in the bar in Venusville, all of those little freaky, weird looking people. I mean, I remember the lady with 3 tits, but
Of course you did.
you cannot forget that.
You don't really need an advertisement. It's right there.
Right, exactly. But yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff that I it was almost like I was experiencing it again for the first time. And it's delightful. So many of the effects hold up really, really well, because so many of them are just straight up practical effects. There's some digital-ish effects that are still fine. I think watching like a digital projection of it on a big screen would likely really diminish the quality of that, because I think it works a lot better on film. But yeah, fucking magnificent. If you haven't watched Total Recall in a while, it's really fucking good. Go watch Total Recall.
I love that that's the movie Ronnie Cox was talking about in that action documentary we watched, where he was just like, look at this shit. Look at this cheap ass shit. This movie fucking sucks.
Fuck you, Ronnie Cox. Fuck
He didn't
you,
mean
man.
it in a bad way. He was just, when they were filming it, he was like, my God, this is going to be the worst piece of shit ever.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those sets
He was
are
wrong.
A lot of those sets are very minimalist and like sparsely designed for like only
Yeah.
one shot. So like, you know, like I could see that walking out to a set and just be like, oh, yeah.
That was also
Yeah.
the movie. They flew them all down and made him fly coach
Oh, yeah.
to get to the set. And he was like, the hell, I'm Ronnie Cox.
Well, was that a Carol Co. movie? Yeah. So that was like right before they were basically running out of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God. It just, yeah. I love that they have the 2 weeks thing. I wonder, that's another one that's just like, yeah, this is a GIF everyone's seen now.
Yes.
Mhm.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
There's so much good stuff in that movie, and there's so many good side characters in there. Like Benny is great, and
Benny is awesome.
and just like his Johnny Cat, but his new girlfriend's reaction after she finds out who Sharon Stone was, they're just so many good things in that movie. I love that. I'm not sure if it's that or like Terminator or Terminator 2 that's my favorite Arnold movie, but it's one of those three, because Total Recall is way the fuck up there.
Predator.
Man, and Predator, god damn.
Yeah. That's my top one.
Yeah.
It's easy.
I watched Commando recently. Did I talk about that? Commando's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think I did talk about that, because that was shortly after we had watched the documentary.
Yeah,
The-
it really made me want to rewatch
Search for
Commando.
the Last Action
I just
Hero.
haven't.
Yeah, the biggest selling point of that documentary is, hey, we should probably watch Commando again.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Is
should
it
watch.
on a streaming service?
No, I don't know.
Could be, but probably.
I don't think I watched it on a streaming service. I think I watched it on Aplex.
That's a streaming service of a different sort.
Yeah. But so I had watched Total Recall, and I was like, man, Paul Verhoeven, pretty awesome. I decided to watch Starship Troopers because I fucking love Starship Troopers. And hey, guess what? Starship Troopers still slaps. Also has Michael Ironside. Also has a lot of good practical effects and digital effects that hold up surprisingly well for a movie that was released at that time. Again, probably not going to stand up to like the scrutiny of digital projection on a what does that say?
What's that?
It says
Max.
Commando, and it's on HBO Go.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Cool.
Might not
Sorry.
stand up to digital project. No, you're fine. Might not stand up to digital projection on a big screen, but on a regular TV, it looks fucking great. And I'm not going to say that Starship Troopers is like especially poignant political commentary right now, even though it is, but it's always especially poignant political commentary. Like,
Yeah,
I think
it's kind of evergreen in that way, just because
yeah,
it hasn't.
I think every
barely ever
decade
stopped.
there's some bullshit that you can draw an analogy to with Starship Troopers. Also, Dizzy was always the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid Carmen, even though like that era Denise Richards, I am always 100% in love with. I just
Carmen is bad. Like Carmen, the character, is a bad choice. Versus
yes,
Dizzy.
Carmen the character is
Yes.
a bad choice. Dizzy the character is the right choice. But also, and I've 100% Dina Meyer. Also 100% in love with Dina Meyer for most of the entire time that she's existed. But I don't know what else to really say about Starship Troopers because it just works. The score, Jens loves this score, so I'm sure he'll be excited for me to say something about the score. It's fucking amazing. It is perfect for what it is. It's also a type of orchestral music that I really love, which is fuck everything else. Let's get all the brass in here, and it's going to be nothing but like huge, big brass, brass hits, swelling brass, everything brass. Just nothing but fucking tubas and trumpets and French horns, and they're all on 11. And who cares about anything else? We might get a drum or two, but fuck a flute or a violin. We don't need them. Just blast me into space.
Is this American Pie now?
Fuck a flute.
Fuck a flute, blast me into space.
Yeah.
Put
Put that on my tombstone.
Who did
Yeah,
the music? Why
microphone
can I not
dropped.
find this on IMDb? Composer. That's what I was looking. I thought it was
It's like
Basil
Basil
Poledouris.
Poledouris.
Okay, I thought it was him. I just didn't want to speak out of turn and anger the soundtrack lord out there, but
Yeah.
I thought it was because I mean it's very Conan-esque. It's just like fuck yeah, like murder time.
And I think once I mentioned that I had watched it in Discord, Jens was like, "Oh, Clendathu Drop is one of my top 5 score pieces ever," or something like that. I don't remember exactly how he rated it, but yeah,
Yen said
if you-
some yen stuff.
yeah,
It gets
Jens went Yenzy about
5
it.
goldsmiths.
Yes, nice. But yeah, if you ever have some shit to get into, you should yell at your phone to play Clendathu Drop and get yourself ready to do the shit.
Yeah, I should just make it like a nothing but like get pumped soundtrack with like that the Pacific Rim thing, like just
Yes.
nothing like like fuck yeah. No, that might be bad.
Yeah,
I don't have any.
make an-
I don't have any outlet for that much energy right now. So
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, don't do
Make
that.
an orchestral hype beast soundtrack or playlist.
Yes.
That'd be pretty good. Maybe we should start that project in the jam zone
Well,
in our Discord.
we can start it. We won't have anything to do with it soon, but we can start it.
Yeah, it'll
You
turn
start
into
a lot of things
Yeah.
that other people get to take over.
Right.
We also start a lot of things that people run into the ground. But
Eh,
You like podcasts?
man,
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Stupid piece of trivia. I realized that Starship Troopers was the first disc that I was ever rented by Netflix.
Whoa.
oh wow, how did you find that out?
I remembered it for some reason. I remember that that's why I never had a copy of the movie is because I rented it, and I was like, and sent the disc
Absolutely no
back.
recollection.
But I remember, like, whenever I think of Starship Troopers, it's really dumb. But whenever I think of that movie, I think of it being in those little, Mylar sleeves, not Mylar, but that
Tyvek.
Yeah, that Tyvek sleeve that Netflix had.
Man,
Yep.
what a world.
It
And
might-
someone at my old work was still renting discs, like before I left this year. Like they were still because every Monday they'd have like 2 discs going back to Netflix. So they still had that plan somehow.
To be fair,
isn't it funny that we're like knocking people for you still? I mean, like we used to drive to a store and like get a thing,
Oh,
and we're now mocking people for still using a
Well, yeah, but
disc
like
delivery.
Netflix felt like
I know.
the future back then.
Yes.
I mean, holy shit, because it was just like, wow, I don't have to go
Anything.
anywhere to rent it. Like, I just have to wait a couple days and they'll mail it to me, and then like what? And it was like the lottery too, because it was like, well, what do they send me next time? I don't know.
They were
Yeah,
pretty good
eventually
about
things on a list, but
Yeah, and then it eventually became, all right, here's thing 199 from your list, because literally everything above it is rented.
Well, that was GameFly. I don't know about. I never really had that issue with Netflix so
oh,
much.
Netflix did the same thing.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't stick around.
I think
I basically
I
got
think
in
when
like
Netflix was super popular, like when I think they took on a bunch more users than they could handle, and so for a while it was like that. It was like
I don't know.
it
Maybe I was
wasn't
just
as
always
bad as GameFly.
I was probably already always running stupid shit that was never out of stock because like I would just
Mm-hmm.
I would plow through entire series. Like I mean, I watched probably about 40% of The Sopranos via Netflix disc back in the day. You
Mm-hmm.
know, until it started being like, hey, just turn it on. It's over here. You know, but
Oh, I watched Doctor Who for the first time.
huh? Oh, that's,
how
how
I
you.
watched the modern Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. Wow, even that late? Okay. Yeah, I guess that about checks it.
Getting discs from Netflix.
Yeah, but I watched like all of like Star Trek Deep Space Nine shit like that back then. You know, just be like, I had like this weird system of like, all right, if I finish this disc, I already have the next one, and like, I know it takes 2 days to get the other one back, and you know, like time it out where it was like had
The best thing that Netflix ever did was when they entered with a partnership with the post office, that the post office would scan it the second you gave it to them.
that never
Yes.
worked.
So it would count as returned the second you handed it to a clerk.
Yeah.
That worked for about a week, I think.
Oh, it worked for a while.
Before the post office broke it was never Netflix's fault. It's just like they're
No,
like
no.
another machine we have to put this through. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I think they just put it in line with
In
all
the conveyor
the
belt,
like,
sure, but
with all the regular mail. Like it was just like, okay, if you just clamp that on right there, then everything will be fine. But yeah, Netflix, the discs thing is still a good service because you get everything. Like they've got all the movies. Like they don't have the weird. It's like FX. They have the movies.
They do.
This segment brought to you by FX. They have the movies.
Now on Hulu.
But they don't have the restrictions and all the streaming right bullshit that they have to go through for the discs. They just have them.
What was the
think
dumb thing they were going to become?
Quickster.
Oh, Quickster. Flixster was something else. What was Flixster?
Flixster actually
No,
exists.
It was
but
Quickster.
Yeah, Quickster was the Netflix thing, but what was Flixster? Is that something that still exists?
I think that's still a thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was that one of those like movie tracking things? Like,
I think
don't
it's
know.
I
Scrabble
think it's
your
like a
movies or
digital
something?
code redemption thing.
okay, all right.
I think it's one of those.
Oh,
things
it's like a ultraviolet thing or whatever. Okay.
An American social networking movie website for discovering new movies, learning about movies, and meeting others with similar tastes in movies.
Oh, so Letterboxd.
Flixster.
No.
Maybe actually the good people are there, and all the people on the Letterboxd are the worst people. So maybe Flixster is where the quality shit is. People not just
I'm
going
gonna-
like,
I'm gonna say
I
no.
saw this movie. 500,000 likes. Thanks for that
Yeah,
poignant
I-
review.
Yeah, Letterbox sidetrack. I bitched about like the number one review for which they emailed me like in my Letterbox weekly email was like a guy who watched Palm Springs said Hulu. I really liked this movie. It had like 739 likes, and I'm like, what the fucking shit? And it turns out he's like an actual director who's done stuff, who's done stuff for like A24 and all that. And it's like, okay, so it's basically a bunch of sycophants that just follow him and then go, okay, like, and comment, wow, I'm so glad you liked that movie. I did too. Like,
We should hang out.
yeah, it's like, guys, he's not going to fuck you. You don't need to like, you don't need to do this.
You don't know.
A bunch of movie simps.
Yeah, I mean,
The
fucking
Simpsons
hell.
movie?
Check
Yeah.
out my new podcast,
And the-
moviesimps.com.
Yeah, and the number two is like a Brooklyn Nine-Nine / How I Met Your Mother one-line joke. And it's like, all right, yeah, typical Letterbox there. And then the number three was a guy who's like, well, I was almost cast in the movie, and I forget. He's like internet famous. Well, he was like a writer for Good Place and some other stuff. So he's like an actual dude, and he actually had a review at least that said things about the movie, and not just like I watched it on Hulu and I liked it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Letterboxd, come on. Quit sucking.
Well,
It's a shame that like Letterboxd, the website, like all the framework, how it works and everything, is really pretty good. I have a few quibbles, but
I just wish you could.
Letterboxd, the community is
Yeah.
bullshit.
I wish you could block or mute people. Like, just give me that ability, and Letterboxd would be perfect for me.
Yep.
Because there's
That way
plenty
I
of
wouldn't
people
have to
who,
see you guys' stuff.
yeah, I'm fine with that. It's great, but like,
They should
there
let
are
us
plenty
make
of
a
people
web
there
ring.
who like, and I just don't get it. But like, people just like, oh God, love their reviews. Like that fucking Todd Gaines guy. My God, like it's just like one sentence, like gunfights. Guy drives a car. Blah blah blah, and it's like it's all just like random crap. And it's like he reviews all the same shit we do, so his stuff comes up constantly. And I'm always like, why the fuck do you people like this? Like, maybe he's like Baz Luhrmann. I don't know. I don't get it.
Probably it.
But anyway, yeah, it's just I don't understand the kids and why they like things on Letterboxd the way they do. They're stupid.
People are idiots, Leslie.
Anyway,
hey, speaking of idiots, I want to admit
Yeah.
that I'm one by admitting that I like a movie that I probably shouldn't like anymore, but I watched it recently and I still do. Out of nowhere, I said a line out of the movie and then I was like, what the fuck did I just quote? And I had to do that backtrack of thing I've said for 20 plus years where I was like, I don't even remember what movie that's from. And it's fucking the first Ace Ventura movie.
yeah,
And so I just decided to watch it because I feel like that's one of those things that Jim Carrey's always been a weird wave. You know, like it depends on when you catch Jim Carrey's fame as to whether people love him or hate him. And I feel like it keeps coming and going and coming and going. And I never know what the temperature in the room is on Jim Carrey, but that's about as Jim Carrey as you can possibly have. I mean, that's the most Jim Carrey you can have. Most people would say The Mask, but I argue that it's like it's not the same when, you know, it's digitally enhanced and all that. Like this is the most like fucking psychotic Jim Carrey you can see is the two Ace Ventura movies, you know. So
yeah.
I hate to admit it, I still fucking laugh at so much dumb shit.
One
at that.
is funny as fuck.
I mean,
dude.
the entire ending is extremely problematic, and not only just
Yeah.
from like a modern standpoint of like gay panic shit, but like why they were like, you know what people are going to remember years from now is if we like go all in on a long parody of the Crying Game. Like that's a weird.
Crying Game parodies were huge then.
But I'm just saying,
yeah,
like,
that was
that's-
only like a year later.
yeah, I mean, like that's a weird thing. Like I feel like Crying Game is now like super problematic in and of itself, just like the whole premise of that. But I mean, it's like, you know, like that's just a weird thing to like for a movie that's not about parodies to just be like, you know what, if like our third act hinges on being direct parody, and that's so weird. Like that's the strangest thing about that movie. But and it's not the plot of the movie that works. It's little dumb shit he like improvs he was doing. Like one of the things that makes me laugh the hardest is when he's in the party, and it's not like the "whoo, do not go in there" bathroom scene. It's when he's walking through the party and the 5-piece orchestra is just playing, and he just grabs the bow of the violin guy, and just subtly as he's walking by, it's just like dun 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 dun, dun and he's like and just keeps walking by, and it's so fucking random and kind of in the background. It's beautiful, and yeah, I just wanted to apologize because like I feel like in watching this now, I'm like I feel like. Everything I've said wrong about people that like earnest movies, I have no excuse for liking Ace Ventura. It is the same lowest common denominator bullshit humor, and I feel bad that it's like I'm just like you're stupid if you like earnest movies, but I like this, and so who am I to judge? Because they're the same.
In the
Fucking base
second
level.
one, still one of the funniest things I've ever seen is when he's climbing out of that rhino. I don't think I've ever laughed harder than I did in the theater watching that happen.
Well, I was going
and
to watch
it's
the
so
sequel.
stupid.
It is. I was going to watch the sequel, but like that's one that I think people hate even more for some reason, just by and large. So I don't know why, but
I've always liked Pet Detective 2, whatever the fuck it's called.
yeah.
When nature calls.
Back in the Habit, Nuns on the Run.
Chicago.
But like it's so weird that Jim Carrey is a funny dude. Like he's weird, but he's like an honestly funny dude. But what makes his movie stuff good is his physicality and his timing, not his jokes, but the physical stuff is the fucking best. And in Ace Ventura, even though the mask is more of the outrageous clamoring Jim Carrey, like his physical comedy in Ace Ventura, the way he moves, the way he sort of whips his head around.
Yeah, it's all pure. It's
presents
not,
himself.
nothing's enhanced. It's just him.
It's so fucking good. Like him leaning out of his car when he's had the windshield shot to shit, and just his face when he does that, and how like snappy his movements are. Like, and then too, when nature calls, like that whole crawling out of the rhino scene is absolutely dependent on him doing the dumbest shit in the world with his face and arms when he's first squeaking out of it.
I just remember the other thing that makes me laugh incredibly hard at Ace Ventura 1 is, again, I don't know if this was mic'd on the set, that's amazing, or if it was enhanced with sound effects later. But when he is doing the other problematic thing of acting mentally challenged when they go to the asylum, so he can do is like he does the like it's halftime thing and goes over to that bench and just goes timeout, coach, and just goes whack on that bench so hard that the sound that it makes is just it's almost like the Futurama like limbo crack. It's like it's that good of a sound effect. Like it's just like holy fuck. Like either he just was like I don't care if I break my nose, I'm gonna do this, or like I said, it's enhanced because it is loud as shit. Yeah, and that just makes me laugh. So.
Yeah. I think your premise for this was that you quote it all the time.
I do. Well, the main thing was I realized that it's a thing I've said for so long that I honestly forgot where to attribute it, and it's the walk-in, and it's like come to me, my jungle friends.
Yes,
I say that all the fucking time when I walk in, and the cats start surrounding me. I'm just like, and I've just said it for years, and I was like, where did I fucking get that from? I thought it was like some Tarzan movie or Jungle Book thing or something. I was like, nope, it's fucking Ace Ventura.
I always think about the sliding door. Whenever I have a sliding glass door in my hand that moves smoothly, I think about that scene in the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I fully attribute it to just being that right age of like, it's all generational. Like we grew up in like that, 90s, we're extreme. We can do, say whatever, blah, and it's just like 90s comedies got pretty gross and shit. And I can't apologize for them, but it's like, I have a super soft spot because like, that's where I was 18 to 20, getting to watch the shit and like not caring anymore. And I'm not saying it's like it's some hard R movie. It's just like going back, it's like, wow, that all, settle, that all hinges on like some gay panic, like cross-dressing transsexual stuff here. Okay, cool. Like that's fantastic. Like, but yeah. So yeah, it like I said, I'm just apologizing to the Ernest. It is my earnest apology.
To the fans of Ernest.
Yes, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So Chuck.
Yeah.
Do you have something?
Yeah, just real quick. There's a movie on Amazon Prime called American Hero. It's like a low-budget Hancock, but better than that sounds.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Like an indie kick-ass?
Yeah.
I almost did a spit take because I almost made a mid-budget kick-ass joke when he was doing the Ellen Page, like where the old guard was. And I was like, okay, that joke's just too old, but it was in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, you saying a different budget Hancock. Sorry, got me.
Yes. It's I mean, you read the premise and you go, wait, this is Hancock. And kind of is, but lower budget. It's just a nice movie. It's Stephen Dorff, Eddie Griffin.
Huh.
And what's the name of it?
American Hero.
Is it a Hulu original or
No. It's a low budget movie that's one of the millions of movies on Prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got digging in. Like Prime's really good if you want some weird ass shit. Like I mean, they've got some like they picked up libraries of just like those things that used to get dumped to DVD with like no menu whatsoever. Just like put the disc in and it starts auto playing 2 hours of whatever weird shit. Like that is all on Amazon Prime. Because I got digging in there like all those like old like mental hygiene type films, and like are on there, and old ass weird commercials with celebrities. It's just there's a treasure trove of that kind of weird shit on Prime. I discovered.
Yeah. That's the good thing about Prime. Prime seems to be the dumping ground for the kind of weird shit that we would totally be into. And there's podcast fodder galore on Amazon Prime. So if we ever get to podcast again in the same room, bet on Amazon Prime being a source.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I got. Watch American Hero. It's just a nice movie.
Okay. Did we reach
Nice.
the end somehow?
I think we reached the end. I think we
Sure.
have nothing more to say about movies ever.
No more variety.
We had a pretty good variety
shit.
this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you liked this podcast and you would like to know more, check us out at bmfcast.com. That's our website. We have stuff there, including buttons that you can click, which will take you to other places where we have stuff, like patreon.com/bmfcast, where we have things that will take your money, because it isn't free to do this. So give us some money for it. And you'll receive content, and
Okay.
you'll
Oh,
get
good,
content out of it. But
yeah.
give us like $1 a month, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
bmf@bmfcast.com if you want to email us. Also, the Garfield phone is still in operation. So 9105-JOCKS-BMF or 910-556-9263. You can leave a voicemail for us through Garfield.
Yep. Garfield is at least 6 feet away from me right now. We're good.
Yeah. You should get a mask for Garfield.
He hates mask days. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of here, shall we?
Sure.
I'm Harlow.
I'm Mackie.
I'm BJ,
I'm Chuck.
and this is Bamfcast out. Variety out. Or,
Yeah. Variety
Bye.
says
I don't know how to do
stinks.
this anymore.
Yeah.
I have forgotten the face of my father. And stop.
Oh, you were trying to remember, and you were just like, nope. That's the end of that.
All right, hitting stop
Yeah.
and exporting for old Chuck.
I've learned that I can hit stop and not actually shut off the multi-track and still keep talking and not give you excess
Sweet.
files.
Yeah.
Got
I
it
get
figured out, huh?
Lots of extra bonus podcast stuff from.
Oh, yeah. All those fun things I'm saying by myself in a room while
Yeah.
I'm waiting for other people. Usually singing to myself or some dumb shit.
14.
Yeah.
Yes.
Saving project data files. Also, I don't know if I posted in the Discord about this, but there was a really good video on Forgotten Weapons about the Calico, which is a that weird submachine gun with the round magazine on it. It kind of looks like the whole thing kind of looks like a cone. But the first time I saw one, I was trying to think about it. It's a classic looking movie gun. First time I saw one was in Total Recall. It's in the scene with when he gets to Mars. No, he's going on the metro and they're going through the X-ray thing.
Yeah.
The guards have calicos. It's an interesting sort of like if you know what you're looking at, it's very obvious that they're calicos. It's cool. This is bonus content that nobody else cares about.
Sorry.
You're not sorry, but
I'm not.
because you're a shit.
I am.
Yeah.
All right. I am exporting a WAV for you.
Oh, I like a good wife.
A WAV. My WAV.
My wife.
Oh, man. I was going to tell, I was like, I know I had another Ace Ventura story to tell, and it didn't come out, it didn't pop in my head at the time I was talking about it, so this will be some dumb bonus content. So,
Righty then.
it's
Dumbo concept.
95, 6, somewhere around there. You know, a few years after Ace Ventura. I was randomly at the time, I believe it was still MGM Studios in Disney, and I was there with my family, and I don't remember why, but like, I mean, I straight up say I don't ride roller coasters or things that drop. I fucking hate the feeling of. I think I would be okay skydiving. I've said this before. I think I'd be okay skydiving. I don't like that being like feel like you're being pulled down by a thing. So, never tried just skydiving. So whatever. I was waiting. I think other people were going on a ride. I was sitting there with my brother, and you know, like you go to the place where it's like, all right, here's the, you know, wimp out area. Wait for the people to get off the ride area, and I'm sitting there, and like, fucking Dan Marino walks by, like 2 feet in front of me. I'm just sitting there, and I was like, that was fucking Dan Marino, and just the weirdest fucking thing. And what it was is like they were letting him in like some secret Disney Underground entrance onto the ride, so he didn't have to like go and get, you know, hounded by people.
Wait with the plebes.
Yeah, but like, you know, so it's like it's a semi not crowded area of Disney by Disney standards, but there were still a few people around like, oh, can I get your autograph? And I'm like, the fuck did you get Dan Marino shit? Like, did you just have that on you? Like, how the fuck do you have a Dan Marino poster for him to sign? You're in fucking Disney. Like, what? Like, I don't know if he was there for a reason, for like it was announced, but
They probably had some isotoner gloves.
I swear to God, like kids were just walking by with like, you know, Dan Marino shit. I'm like, you're in Disney. How did you know he was here to bring whatever? But I was just like,
Dan Marino's people probably had Dan Marino stuff.
so I was just sitting there. I was like, hey, that's Dan Marino. My brother's like, what, really? And I was like, yeah, he's right over there. See the kids, like a couple kids coming up to him for asking for autographs and shit. And he's like, he knows even less about sports than me. And he's like, you mean the guy that was in Ace Ventura? I'm like, yes, that's who Dan Marino is. He's the guy from Ace Ventura. And so like I was just like, hey, it actually would be pretty funny because all the people are walking up there with football shit for him to sign. It would be funny to walk up and ask him something, you know, hey, I recognize you from Ace Ventura, and not know who you are from football. And I dared him. I dared my brother. I said, why don't you go up there and ask him if he has any more gum? And he didn't know Ace Ventura as much as I did, but he's like, all right. So, but like Dan was ready. Like apparently other people have randomly done this because he was like, no, I just gave it to the last guy that asked me or something like that. He had some canned response that. So yeah.
Good on you, Dan Marino.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Laces out, Dan.
Yeah.
Like Brett Favre is only from that There's Something About Mary movie.
Right. Well, like if I'd seen Dan Marino coming, so that when he walked by and I could have gotten like the Doppler effect, I probably would have gone, laces out, Dan. And it's like as he walked by. But it was more like I just looked up and went, weird instant recognition thing. So
yeah, you should have asked him about his last football game ever.
I should have. I was actually there. That's the second time I saw Dan Marino.
Yeah, tell me, hey, I'm from Jacksonville, Dan.
Yeah.
Remember last time you were there?
That game hadn't happened yet, or I would have.
Nothing.
That game hadn't happened, or I would have taunted him about it.
Yeah. Okay.
63-7, huh, Dan? Wow.
Yeah. Wow, how did you let that happen?
Yeah, you really got violated by that team, didn't you, Dan?
Yeah, fucking
That was
Jackson.
You'd think they'd stop scoring at some point. Just be like, I feel
Fred
sorry
Taylor's 93-yard touchdown run. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I want to say like what was his name? Was it Jimmy Smith? Is that one of our badass receivers early on?
Yeah.
I think he caught like a nearly 100-yard pass too, or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Broke away. It was like
They fucking destroyed
they
him.
just couldn't stop scoring at them.
That game was
No.
embarrassing.
They tried to stop
Yeah.
and kept falling into the end zone. The Dolphins were pushing them into the end zone. It's
Yeah.
just like,
But
no.
There may have been a kick return for a touchdown in that.
Why not?
The thing about dudes like that, though, is you never can get them in a conversation because they're smart enough to get by you
Yeah.
and then say something as they're like already past you.
Oh, no, I've seen Dan
Like-
Marino. He would have just stood there and gotten hit. I'm pretty sure.
Nice. But yeah, that's like the pro move that they all figure out at some point, that they're like, if you don't know this person and you don't want to engage with them, you keep walking and then you go, oh, hey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once you're already by.
That's how Obama got trapped by Joe the plumber.
Yeah, he should have gotten by.
He didn't brush past him.
Yep.
But yeah, that was my other dumb Dan Marino story, or Ace Ventura sort of related story.
Well, I thought it was a lovely story.
Thank
You told it so well.
Such enthusiasm. Yeah.
Such enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Tower Terror's not that bad.
I still wouldn't do it.
It's not there anymore.
No. It's that.
What?
I thought it was something else now, or did they just
They
raised
changed
that?
it.
They raised.
They didn't raise it to
Oh,
the
okay.
ground. They
Oh,
just
yeah, it's a
changed
Guardians of the Galaxy thing now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Something like
Famous
that.
for drops. Sick drops.
Oh, they had lots of needle drops. They were pretty.
Yeah,
famous
I was
for
about
that.
to say,
Here's a
the only
fucking
drops
bad
they got in
finger.
that fucking movie.
Yeah. Skydiving's pretty good, by the way.
Yeah.
You should try skydiving.
I mean, it sounds so stupid, and I know that you can't do it, but like, I really wish I could just like jump myself the first time. Like, I don't necessarily really want to just
if you do a
strap
static
person.
line.
Oh.
If you do a static line jump, you can jump yourself.
Well, it just means you jump out and you're immediately parachute deployed, right? Like you only fall for
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
3 seconds,
Yeah.
right?
If that.
Yeah.
Static line jump, you just
Yeah, I think I would have.
As you're going up.
I think I would have zero problem gliding with a parachute. Like, I mean, that's the kind of speed. I don't think that would bother me at all. I'm wondering, like, hit the terminal velocity. Like, is that going to fuck with me like roller coasters do?
100% pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it takes very little time between when you lean out of the plane and the point where you stop feeling the sensation of falling is very, very fast. Like, maybe a couple seconds you feel like you're falling, but then it just feels like
You probably start
you're
focusing
standing in
more
front
on
of
the
a big
wind
thing.
coming at you than like the feeling
Yep.
of falling. Yeah, it's
Exactly,
probably
yeah.
like a overwhelming of emotions, like or sensations, not emotions. Just like falling doesn't matter anymore because the wind is coming at me so fast. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's just that you start falling and I don't know, must have something to do with the inner ear and how quickly it just reaches an equilibrium as you're dropping.
yeah.
Because you don't change, you're not changing directions a whole bunch or anything. You just kind of go wee.
Yeah. No, like I
And
said,
go-
I love like centrifugal force rides and stuff. Like that doesn't bother me at all. It's the sensation of being like dragged down. Like if a roller coaster I think could start, and I think there are some that just like magnet power to the drop isn't what gets you going. I think I might possibly enjoy one, but they're always
Oh,
going to
the
have some.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Incredible Hulk just whips you straight up.
Right.
Yeah, you're sitting
There's
there
no
and it
slow,
just
like, tick, tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This thing is just like,
But that's also like a fairly extreme one. Like if I hated, I mean, I know it'd be over in like 60 seconds, but but I'm saying like, I'm talking about like the only ones I've ever ridden. Like I can ride Space Mountain. Like that's fucking nothing. Like that only drops you for like a half a second. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, but
Rock and Roller Coaster is a good one.
yeah,
Yeah. I feel
Okay.
like Aerosmith.
I do ish to a point.
Yeah, that one isn't bad.
It's a baby roller coaster. It's
Yeah.
I like
it's
I like
not- it's
Aerosmith
for the
prior to
olds.
Armageddon. So yeah,
Is
When-
Rock and Roller Coaster the one where you kind of like go straight up and you
No.
can which is the one where you can pick your music?
That's at Universal. I forget what it's called though.
Is it Universal?
Yeah, the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster is at MGM, or not MGM anymore, but Hollywood Studios. And I forget what the one is, what it's called at Universal, but yeah, that's the one where it's got like you can play Crystal Method or all your
Yeah,
favorites
yeah.
from the late '90s.
Yep.
get busy, John.
Yep. I'm sure they've updated it now. It's like Frank Ocean or some bullshit.
Doubtful. I doubt
I want
they
Billy
don't update
Ocean.
shit on roller coasters.
Yeah.
They make
Oh.
sure that you don't
Get
die,
out of
and
my
that's the end of
dreams.
it.
Get into my.
Well, I mean, they got rid of Back to the Future. Isn't it Simpsons now?
If
I don't
it's
think
still
it's. I don't think
that.
it's even Simpsons. I think it might even be gone. Like I think
They
that
might
building.
have torn that
yeah.
pavilion down.
Because I think they raised
That
the
thing
Terminator
was
Theater
decrepit.
too. Like the T2 ride, I think they killed that, and so I
Yeah,
don't know if they
that-
built something new
that's
in
gone.
that whole because they were right next
Oh,
to
the
each other.
T2 3D is gone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
that shit
God, it's
never
been
worked.
years since I've been there.
I think I ever saw that once where like everything went as planned. Like because I lived there and I had season pass. I went to Universal so much. I literally in '96 I could tell you where fucking everything in Universal Studios was. But
Yeah,
yeah,
try working there.
yeah. But-
Try working there. You know where everything is pretty quick.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they never like the motorcycle only worked like 10% of the time, maybe if
Yeah.
that. Like, it still had the motorcycle noise was pumped into the soundtrack, and which was a bad idea because it never worked right. So the Terminator would just like walk out or come up on the little raised platform, just like, yeah, I bought a motorcycle, maybe. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
we used to fuck with the
and
people that did
Jaws
King
is
Kong.
gone.
Yeah,
I still miss the badness of Jaws.
I miss King Kong. Like everyone that hated King Kong, but
Yeah.
King Kong was so terribly
Why
awesome.
why did people hate King Kong?
I
King
don't know.
Kong was good.
I don't know, but like
There's
I knew.
something I like about the fact it's a huge ass room
Yeah.
with just these giant animatronics in them.
I knew the entire script, so like we would like sit in the back of the cable car and just say it along with the person. Like, same thing with Jaws. Like we just knew, like, oh no, he's circled around us. He's going for the gas tank. Keep your arms and legs outside of the vehicle. Because I always had like the really quick disclaimer while they're freaking out. Mm-hmm. That was the best part.
Yeah, does the Jurassic Park one even have the person on it anymore?
No,
Or is it all video
that was just
stream
a log flume thing. Oh no, you're talking about. No, the one that's like feels like a Jurassic Park ride is actually at Animal Kingdom. That's not Jurassic Park license. It's like a dino
No, but there's
ride.
a Jurassic Park one at Universal now.
But it's a water flume thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they updated it to Jurassic World or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a person on that. That was just like, Splash Mountain, sitting and listening to animatronic bears shit in the woods and stuff. Mm. Yeah. I haven't been to Disney in fucking forever. Like, like any of the parks.
Well, don't go right now.
No. I'm just saying, like, I haven't been to like any of the
Bad
parks
call.
in forever. Honestly, I think the last time I went might have been like about a year after Animal Kingdom opened. Like, it's been that long.
I was there in February.
Yeah, like Animal Kingdom was like wasn't even finished when I went. Like, there was still a couple of rides that were like, they're not done yet.
All right.
Yeah,
I gotta
anyway.
go.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye.
All right, take us off of the internet.
Bye, friends.